CIA. He was in the Reagan administration. He's posted on Stormfront a lot. This is what this guy really, really did. And if you don't believe that these little talking points can work, Bob Whitaker is proof that they pay people big money to figure this stuff out. Now, if you go and listen to Horace's show, and you right now, you might be really intrigued by what he's saying, talking about white rabbits and stuff. Why don't you give them, where can they find your show, Horace?
Well, if you go to www.whitaker, W-H-I-T, let me get up the site, www.whitakeronline, that's W-H-I-T-A-K-E-R, online, O-N-L-I-N-E.org, and you look at the top right, you're going to see Bob's blog. If you hit Bob's blog there, you're going to go right to the actual blog and where different people communicate. And then if you go down the right, you're going to see Truck Roy Radio on the right. Underneath Truck Roy, you're going to have White Rabbit Radio. And it's very easy. Just follow the White Rabbit. It'll take you right there. And you're going to get my actual MP3s of the current system you're in. You're going to get the current talking points I want you on. Very simple. If you only do one of them, and when you're called a racist, just say, in your opinion, I'm a racist. You're just saying that because I'm white. Anti-racism is a code word for anti-white. Don't argue. Walk away. Keep conditioning it.
Right.
That's all I want you to do.
Right.
A 5-year-old can do it. If you don't want to do it, give it to your little brother or sister to do. It doesn't matter. By the way, you can give it to Africans to do. In your opinion, he's a racist. You're just saying it because he's white. Anti-racism is just a code word for anti-white. It doesn't matter who says it. It's dynamic.
So
it's
a weapon in anybody's hands. It's just we need to start wielding this weapon. And you mentioned that little kids can pick up on this. And if I were to guess, I imagine little kids could pick up on this better than most adults could.
Yes, because they do it and they don't question it.
Right.
They do nana, nana, nana. And having a little kid say the same thing over and over again, and everyone listening to this has been through those little devils, they will say the same thing over and over and over again. They will ask the same question over and over again. Repetition is key.
It is. And you get a lot of repetition in your show. Now, talking about little kids have open minds, and now I want to say something to my listeners out there. Now, if you go and you listen to Horace's shows, which I highly, highly recommend you do, because what he's telling you and what he demonstrates in his shows is just critically important, effective weapons that we can use. But go in there with an open mind. And I've listened to quite a few of your shows, Horace, and you go into topics that I'm like, whoa, this is like science fiction. I'm not on board with this. But I gotta tell you, it's entertaining stuff. And at the same time, you're making that point. You're doing those little memes, that na 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 na, over and over again, and it's something that I can learn from and be entertained at the same time.
The objective is to do something new and to give you something you've never heard before, but at the same time bring it back to topics you've heard every single day. Everyone listening to this knows who sung "Hit Me, Baby, One More Time." Sound is like that. Sound is everything. Sound is a vibration, and everything starts with sound. You can dodge a bullet, but you cannot dodge sound. Sound is violent. Sound can do all those things. If I say "achy, breaky heart," if you're a country boy, or even if you're not, I mean, Billy Ray Cyrus sung that song. It just ripped through your mind. If I say "help me, help you," you know exactly that it was a Tom Cruise movie, although I can't remember the title. It just raced through your mind. That's what we do.
It evokes a response that you can't control. You can't unhear something. And
you can't.
All right, so now, I want you to give us a demonstration or an example. I remember in one of your shows you talked about in a cocktail party or some sort of party situation, you were asked by people what you thought of Obama, because there's people who like Obama and people who hate him, and not very many people in between. And I thought that if you can remember that was a great example.
Sure. That's what I say. That's what I say in America or anywhere in the world. What I say about Obama, I said, look, Africans have 50-plus countries in the world. More like 55, 57. But Africans have 50-plus countries in the world. Africans have well over half the world's natural resources. Africans have the largest population the world has ever seen. They're the most numerous people on Earth. Africans have the greatest piece of farmland the world has ever known, Africa. Africans live with me as a minority. I am a minority. There's not much more I could do for you other than make you president.
Yeah.
And that is a bombshell. You see, I am not debating tactics and policy. I am leveling people to the ground. But I'm not shouting epitaphs. What it is we're pointing out the truth in a closed society in a way that they can't stop. That's why it gives them fits. That's why Bob Whitaker on Stormfront, they don't want you to know he exists. They don't. They will ignore us. They will ignore him until they can't. But that's what we do. That's what we give you. You'll never go to jail for saying it. I don't want you doing anything you can go to jail for.
Yeah, you make that point real clear that this is not the time for doing anything violent or dealing steel, I think is the term you use.
Yes, dealing steel. This is not, there are two types of revolutions. In your lifetime, and I don't care how old you are, you have not seen a violent revolution, really. You've only seen velvet revolutions. Even when you go to war, you have to go to war under international law. The law is everything. You don't want to break the law. If someone's advocating violence, get away from them. No closed society has ever been brought down through violence. I'm going to repeat that. No closed society has ever been brought down through violence. The Berlin Wall was not brought down through bullets. It is biblical. In this sense, the walls of Jericho could not be brought down through gunfire. No. You have to have the golden horn. Bob creates golden horns. That's what he does.
Right.
He creates the silver whistle that can just shatter glass.
Right, and for people out there going, golden horn, silver whistle,
Sound is everything.
It is, because just as he demonstrated to you a minute ago, if he says the word achy, breaky heart or whatever, there are responses that have been conditioned into you that you can't control. As soon as you hear those words, it's going to evoke a response. And if you can find the right frequency, you can bring anybody around. Now, Lord Nelson, how did you find this guy?
How did I find Horace?
Yes, this guy is unusual. Where did you find this guy?
He's a student of Bob Whitaker, same as myself, and I first came across Horace on Bob's blog. And he said he was going to do some audio shows, and sure enough he has done, and they're very, very impressive.
They are. Now, I
Yep.
need to get on Bob Whitaker's site. I actually made an account over there, but I never got around to it. And, I don't know who all is on that site over there, but whoever you guys are, you're some smart people. Because I'll admit, a lot of this stuff goes over my head a lot of times, but now that when I can see it demonstrated by Horace on his radio shows and stuff, you can't deny that it works. And so what are you guys doing over there? Are you just taking time to work out these little sound bites that are so effective?
I'm just waiting to get my own TV show.
Yeah.
Until that, I'm doing what I can.
Basically, yes. What Bob has done, he's given a template, and that's the mantra. And that's what he helped develop. And he's been doing this stuff. The mantra that you see in place he would have been thought of that probably back in the 50s or the 60s, as soon as this current pattern has came into progress. The problem is that we don't sell brands. So there may be always a time to sell a brand, but there's not always a time to sell like a political revolution. There's not. It has to be timed. This stuff is geared. It's timed, just like Obama stuff. But to come back to the violent phrase, this is very, when it comes to, okay, the only way the U.S. government can be brought down through violence. When I say no closed society, and again, it is a closed society because they say they own the truth on diversity and race. And they have to enforce that, or you're going to move somewhere else. It's just a fact. But Yugoslavia did happen well after the Berlin Wall came down. But the Berlin Wall came down through sound. That's what I'm trying to say. Everything starts with a sound and a vibration. But sound is not what you think. Sound, there's a whole physics behind it. If you watch the Discovery Channel, they're going to show you how to kill things with sound, actually. And that's what it is. When they blew the golden horn, the walls of Jericho came tumbling down. But you got to have someone that can build you that horn. That's what Bob does, and that's what most people in this particular struggle, this movement, don't really understand. I'm just blowing it. I'm just showing you how to blow it. That's all I'm doing.
Right. Now, for people that might not understand what you're saying here, this golden horn thing, can you elaborate a little bit more on that?
It's just a talking point. Consider the mantra a big golden horn. What I did with Obama is I just issued a silver whistle. People that are sitting there, most of the brainwashed people that voted for Obama or would have voted for John McCain, think of them in terms of a pane of glass. What I did was I just blew a silver whistle that busted the glass.
Right. Now, when you say that we have a closed society, I know a lot of Americans think that we have a very open society. We have a lot of freedom. We can discuss a lot of things. How would you say that we have a closed